반짝이는 눈빛 눈이 부셔 매일 날 감싸주는 손길.
Yeo Ui Ju was utterly exhausted, his body and spirit worn down by the relentless toll of his ongoing struggles. The weight of everything was evident on his face, as if each passing day brought him closer to his breaking point. He had been receiving treatment, but it felt like nothing was working. His voice, barely audible, reflected his despair as he confessed how much he was fighting just to stay afloat. He felt as though everything was slipping away from him and the future seemed uncertain. He wasn't sure how much longer he could hold on, both physically and emotionally. Seeing Yeo Ui Ju in such a state, Hwang Jae-rim was deeply concerned. The gravity of the situation weighed heavily on her as she turned to Joo U Jin, desperate for a solution. She urgently asked where he was being treated, her voice filled with a mix of worry and frustration. She needed to know which hospital he was at, and if the current treatment wasn't working, they had to find a better option. With a sense of helplessness creeping into her tone, she begged Dr. Bin, hoping for a miracle. She implored him to do whatever it took to help Yeo Ui Ju to find a way to make the treatment work. Meanwhile, Hye Ra stood resolutely by her mother, her face set with determination. She knew that there was only one way forward for them, to take care of themselves and leave the situation behind. She spoke quietly but with a firm sense of finality, telling her mother that once they took control of their own fate, it would all be over. They had been through so much already, endured so many challenges, and now it was time to move on. Hye Ra had made up her mind. She would see this to end no matter what. There was no turning back now, and she was determined to see things through. At the same time, Yong Su-jeong was taking a far more strategic approach. Her tone was sharp and commanding as she spoke to Joo U Jin, ordering him to freeze all of Min Kyung-hwa's assets immediately. She had a clear understanding of the danger at hand. Choi Hye Ra was eyeing those assets, and if they didn't act swiftly, they might lose everything. There was no time to waste. Yong Su-jeong's eyes narrowed with calculation as she stressed the urgency of the situation. They couldn't afford to give Choi Hye Ra any room to maneuver. If they were going to succeed, they had to act now before Hye Ra could make her move. In another part of the complex web of events unfolding, Jang Myung-chol was trying desperately to reach Min Kyung-hwa. Standing in front of her, he gripped her shoulders firmly, his voice thick with a blend of frustration and deep concern. He was pleading with her to snap out of whatever trance she seemed to be in to regain her senses. "Min Kyung-hwa, it's me, Jang Myung-chol," he called out, his voice trembling with emotion. He shook her gently, trying to break through the fog that clouded her mind. He needed her to hear him, to understand that she couldn't let herself be controlled by the forces around her. His voice grew more desperate as he urged her to take control of her own fate once again. He refused to let her be consumed by the chaos surrounding them.
"'Cause you are beautiful."